It's not really a surprise that the Chaos attributes got one of the better Dominus cards to be released. And when you look at it, they usually get some of the best support cards in the game, so it's kind of expected, to be honest. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and welcome if you're new here. I'm Don, and today we'll be taking a look at Dominus Spark. It's pretty much the opposite to Dominus Spiral in terms of what it locks you out of. As for its effect, similar to Dominus Spiral, if your opponent activates monster card effect in the hand or graveyard, you can activate it from the hand. And its effect states that you can target one monster your opponent controls, banish it. Then if you have no trap cards in your graveyard, your opponent can special summon a monster from the hand. That could be good or bad depending on how you look at it. Like if the monster on the field is really important, the card that they would be summoning from the hand wouldn't even match up to the significance of that monster that you just removed. And sometimes they might not even have any monster to summon other than like a hand trap. Like why would you summon a hand trap? As for the attributes that it locks you out of, you're pretty much locked out of everything other than light, dark, and divine, if that ever becomes a thing. So yeah, earth, fire, water, and wind monsters cannot use their effects for the rest of the duel. Alright, let's take a look at the applications in a few duels with one of the few decks that can use all Dominus cards, and that's Phantasm Spiral. Also, remember, you can leave a like, that'll be appreciated. And if you want to see more videos from me, you can check out the channel. And if you want to see more videos from me in the future, you can subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to be notified whenever I post. Sometimes YouTube don't tell you when I post, so you can just expect videos on Thursdays or Fridays. As for Dominus Spark, you can definitely end an opponent's turn with just this card along with songs, because activating the spark and then having a trap card in the grave for you to songs afterward to add either impulse or even the purge is really powerful. And playing it in a deck like Phantasm Spiral that allows me to play all of the Dominus cards, it made me realize the actual tier of these Dominus cards, Spiral being the weakest of them all, to be honest. Like returning the monster to the hand isn't all that powerful in certain cases. It can be powerful if you're playing against a deck like Malice where you don't want the monsters to be banished, but for decks that don't really want to be banished, like Spark is the key card, and them special summoning a monster from the hand necessarily isn't as good as them special summoning a monster from the graveyard. So when you look at it that way, Spiral isn't really doing much when you're facing decks that aren't Malice. And even when you're facing a deck like Malice, you can just wait for that specific throw point and then just hit the card. Like if you can wait on the link 5 when it doesn't have a card to tribute to negate, you just banish the card, and technically because it has to summon the monsters to the zone where it points to, the effect resolves but the monsters won't summon to the field. So I'm pretty sure you would be locked out of special summoning for the rest of the turn if that would happen. And if that's not the case, you can always just clarify that in the comments, to be honest. So even in cases where Spark is bad, you can find like use cases for it to be really good, because it all depends on how we use your cards. And that's the case with everything in Yu-Gi-Oh, to be honest. It all depends on how you use your cards. Alright, so decks that would usually make good use of these cards would most likely play like 3 songs, 3 purge, and 3 spark if you're playing like a light deck. And as for the dark decks, you just swap out the purge for the impulse, and that's pretty much it. With any combination of songs, and either one of the Dominus cards can get you to the 3rd Dominus card. So 2 hand trap can get you to a 3rd hand trap. So you'll always be at the top of your game. You can get like a banish, then afterwards you get a negate for an add, which it's completely crazy. And if you use the purge first than the spark, it's significantly better because they don't get any of the bonus effects where they'll either like special summon a card from the grave or whatever. They just straight up lose a card, and that's just oppressive when you look at it. As for the deck, seeing that you've been watching this for like a few minutes now while I talk, like let's jump a little on it. So a deck like this, it works really well with the Dominus cards use case scenario, because 1, you don't have any effect monsters. 2, like some persons play the normal monsters, but seeing that you're playing songs, you don't really want to have any monsters in the graveyard. So I don't play any of the normal monsters. In that case, I can always just summon tokens, and usually it'll be really slow because your opponent has to activate a card effect, and if they don't and they have a monster in the field, they can just attack until you die pretty much. So if you have Curse of Amatar, which is the adventure continuous spell, the second continuous spell, not the one that searches the monsters, this one allows you to summon tokens freely, but it locks you from summoning effect monsters, which you don't really mind because you don't play any effect monsters at all. The only effect monsters that you can consider that you play are the ones in the extra deck, and they're really just there for the pot. I was trying out the Decisive Battle of Golconda for protection, but after realizing that it clashes heavily with the songs, I just switched back to playing the Stealth Attack because I can easily just banish the water token. The only downside is you won't be able to have water tokens all the time on the field, because once you have a token already, the field spell won't summon a token, and the adventure token that you would be summoning from the Curse of Amatara would be earth monsters. So that's really the main issue as it relates to that. But it would protect all of your spells and traps, and sometimes all you really need to do is protect them for one turn, and the next turn you're pretty much going to win based on the cards. And the fact that you also can add trap cards, which you can activate at any time as long as you have a token on the field, and Umi, it's really good for the strategy because it allows you to have a trap before you use any one of your Dominus. So for the Dominus cards that have bonus effects like the Purge or Impulse, you're going to destroy the card that you're negating. And for like the Spiral or Spark, you're going to ignore like that punishment effect of your opponent's special summoning a monster because you have a trap there. And overall, like, these traps are really good. You have a trap that negates and decreases your opponent monster by 1,000, and you also have a trap that pops a card, and none of them are once per turn. You can continuously use these cards to negate and decrease and pop. And the fact that you don't have any effect monsters also play a good role. The only hand trap that might affect you would be something like Ash Blossom and Joy of Spring, because your field spell adds is a mandatory add, so you can't really go around that. So the Ash Blossom and Joy Spring would cut you deep, to be honest. That's something to think about. Alright, so that's pretty much it for today, guys, and see you guys next time.